what's up, you guys? Rodney Skinner here, and welcome to another episode of Nostalgia
Nostalgia
Fever. Before we get started, do yourself a favor and click that subscribe button, and also turn on your notifications to be notified of some new videos and other goodies I got for you. And so, what's on my mind today? I think I want to take it back to the year 1997, 1998. Back when Nickelodeon was at its peak. And so, let's take it back to a little show called Hey Arnold. And so, this is one of my all-time favorite shows growing up when I was a kid. And so, it's nice to have shows that are slice of life shows, that pretty much, gives you a chance to really slow down, from all the zaniness and everything. I love zany stuff and slapstick stuff and all that stuff, It's nice to take a break from all that and really, watch a show that is relatable, that is centered around, just being a kid, and your experiences, going to school and growing up and all that stuff, and just all the different, experiences, all the different things, that occurs, in being a kid and, trying new things and not being afraid to take chances and just, different things, a crush on a boy, a crush on a girl and all that stuff, things that kids can relate to, and so that's the thing. And so this show, for those of you who are familiar, Hey Arnold is a show about a 9-year-old boy with a football-shaped head named Arnold, and just all the different things that are going on in his life, with him being like the calm center, and with him, with all of his friends dealing with all this stuff that's going on in their lives and everything, and how he kind of gives them advice, and even with his own, life as well, with him growing up in the boarding house with his grandma and grandpa and all those eccentric boarders, that he was living with and all that stuff. And of course the backstory with his mom and dad and all that stuff. And of course his relationship with Helga, and how, he was always the target of Helga's bullying and jokes and all that stuff, And so there's a lot of stuff to unpack. And so Hey Arnold is a show created by a gentleman by the name of Craig Bartlett, who is well known for the penny shorts that he did for Pee-wee's Playhouse, and also the Arnold shorts that he did for Sesame Street, like Arnold Rides a Chair. And this show in particular, Hey Arnold, there is so much I could say about this show, from the premise of the show to the music, the jazz music and everything, which kind of reminisce of Charlie Brown, with Vincent Vivaldi and all that stuff, but Jim Lang is a genius, and so the music that he did for this show was just amazing. That acid jazz feel, is just, it still holds up to this day. If you listen to it now, if you listen to the music, the soundtrack from Hey Arnold, if you listen to the music now, it's still fresh. It still holds up today, and so it's such a cool show, and when you think about slice of life cartoons, like Charlie Brown and Doug, and of course Hey Arnold, and these are really relatable shows, and so it's cool to have a show that takes you back to being a kid and, different experiences that we can all relate to, and for me, growing up, dealing with a girl, who bullied me in school when I was a kid, and to find out that she actually had a crush on me, and so I could definitely understand, and when I see the dynamics between Arnold and Helga Pataki, and how Helga is constantly picking on him and calling him names like football head and geek bait and hair boy and all that stuff, and how the two of them are always paired up together, doing science projects for school and all of that, and they're constant back and forth, constant bickering with each other and everything. And, every time Helga goes off into her monologues about how wonderful Arnold is, how great he is, whenever she takes out that locket and that and that soothing music that is played and everything, and how she goes off into these I love Arnold monologues and everything, followed up with this nerdy kid named Brainy who she constantly punches out and all that stuff, it's just hilarious, it's sweet and it's hilarious, and so Hey Arnold is such a cool show. And his best friend Gerald Johansson, it was cool to see a black kid on the show who was like the epitome of cool, and Gerald was like Arnold's right-hand man, who always has his back, of course, and Gerald being the keeper of the urban legends and everything, the stories that he tells about stuff that goes on in the city and everything, the legends of certain people, certain kids and all that stuff, and how Gerald pretty much has his ear on the street of what's going on. He talks about, this dude named Fuzzy Slippers and the information that he got from this guy. I guess Fuzzy Slippers is kind of like the top cat, around the streets and everything, who knows, the ins and outs and all that stuff, And so, yeah, I mean, this show was one of the best shows on Nickelodeon, along with many others, and I'm definitely going to talk about some of my other favorite Nickelodeon shows as well. But Hey Arnold was definitely something special, a 9-year-old kid, with all this crazy stuff that's happening around him, all the shenanigans that his classmate friends are dealing with and everything, all the kids and all that stuff, and of course, his grandma and grandpa and everything, his grandpa, constantly, telling him stories, whether they're real or not, but Arnold's grandfather is a great storyteller, of course, and of course, he is hilarious as well, and Arnold's grandmother, who was like, it's kind of like she has multiple personalities, and how she's like a shapeshifter, and how she, and just the different disguises that she wears and everything, like a cowgirl or a ninja and all that stuff, Grandma Pookie, Grandma Gertie, was definitely something else. She was a real character. And Tressa McNeil was just wonderful, voicing her, along with Dan Castellaneta, who is known as Homer Simpson and numerous other characters on The Simpsons. But his portrayal of Grandpa Phil was just hilarious. He always made me laugh, especially with those never eat raspberry jokes, And so it's just hilarious. And so, Arnold, his life living in a big city, which is like a cross combination of New York and Chicago and LA, all that packaged into one, and just the different things that goes on in this neighborhood, with him dealing with a cranky ice cream man named the Jolly Ollie Man who despises kids and all that stuff, and it's just, and of course, the mailman, of course, Harvey, who's like really cool and everything, Mr. Green, who runs his own butcher shop and everything, and he ran for councilman and all that. Of course, Arnold's school, with his teachers, with his one teacher, Miss Slovak, and his current teacher, Mr. Simmons, and all that, and his school Principal Warts, and all that, and just all the different things, that goes on, at the school and everything, and all the other kids and all that, and so this show is such a great show, and all the characters on there play such a key role in making the show great, I talked about Arnold, Helga, of course, and Gerald and all that. There's this other bully named Harold Berman, who's like the chubby kid, and he is constantly, eating the junk food and everything, and, the jokes and him picking on Arnold at times and everything, and picking on the other kids and all that stuff. And Harold, we all of a sudden learn about Harold's soft side, like this one time with the kitten, and how we see a soft side with that, and of course, the different things that Harold was dealing with in his life, as far as his own bar mitzvah and everything when he turned 13 years old, with him being Jewish and everything, and embracing that, embracing his Jewish heritage and all that stuff, and just all the different things that go on, with him dealing with his weight and all that stuff, him having a crush on a girl and everything, Big Patty, how the two of them are good friends and all that, and just all these different things, and all the other kids, Sid, who was like Gerald's lead-in man for the urban legends and all that stuff, and Sid's paranoia is just hilarious, and he just Sid is like a real drama queen, his paranoia, and he's so dramatic and everything, and it's just hilarious. And Stinky Peterson, who's like the country kid, of course, living in the city and all that stuff, and how he talks about how he's not good at anything, how he questions his worth and his value and all that stuff, when it turns out that there's a number of things that Stinky can do really well, with him, growing his own, his own pumpkin, his own giant pumpkin in Stinky's pumpkin, and so, and in addition to that, Stinky is pretty smart, with the way he talks, everything he says, pretty much makes sense, and so, yeah, and so Stinky Peterson is a pretty bright kid. He's one of the tallest kids, of course, in PS 118 and all that. Rhonda Wellington Lloyd was like the rich girl who was snobbish and all that stuff, fashion and all that stuff, and how she just loves, her life, being wealthy, being the rich girl and all, and so yeah, this show is unforgettable, and I still watch it to this day. And this show, if there's anything I learned from the show, is that we all have a story, and no matter how big and bad we can be and all that stuff, no matter how cool, we tend to be as far as our swag and is concerned and everything, but we all deal with life, and Arnold and his friends, they all deal with life. We see them at school together and everything, and when we see them at home, they deal with so many different things, and so it's just life, life growing up, and, just the different things that you experience growing up, and how it's all natural, and so everybody has a story, we all have something that we can, pretty much relate to, and this show was definitely something special, because it really connected us all with real life, with the real world we live in, and just understanding that life is a journey for all of us, and it still is, even for us as adults as well. And so, even now that we're all adults now, the journey gets better and better, and so, and I'm definitely looking forward to more to come. And so, that's it, you guys. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys got something out of this. Hey Arnold is still one of the coolest shows in my book to this day. It's the epitome of cool. And also, you guys, do yourself a favor. I got a new single out entitled No Doubt. It's a inspirational song. It's a groove. And so go ahead and check it out. It's on all digital outlets. Go ahead and check it out. Support independent artists who are dedicated to using their gifts to inspire you to rise and be great as well. And so I hope you guys enjoyed this. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on your notifications for some new stuff, for some new goodies I got. And I'll see you next time. Take care, you guys. Peace.